Schecter guitars are something that I don't really feature much on the channel, and there's not really a reason for it. It's actually not super smart from a logistic perspective because I know how many of you like Schecter guitars, and they're generally considered a great value for the money. Maybe it's partially because when I was coming up, Schecter was kind of seen as the tribal tattoo of the guitar world, with their excessive crosses and abalone. But you know, that was a long time ago, and I don't want to hold that against them. People can change. They usually don't, but technically they can. And if I'm being perfectly honest with you, all of the Schecters I've gotten my grubby little mitts on in the past decade, I've enjoyed playing. But today we're gonna be looking at one specifically that you guys have been requesting for quite a bit. No, it's not that one. If you've been around the channel, you've probably seen me post these cheeky polls on Saturday to tease what Sunday's video is going to be. Well, I recently asked you what you wanted to see most on the channel, and we landed on the 𝗦cie𝗰𝗶𝗹 blade. That was a fun video. Anyways, the runner up on that poll was a Schecter C1. A 𝗦𝗦 specifically, but we'll come back to that. While that is a guitar that I will run through my mill of dissonant riffs, this video is not about that guitar either, but we're much, much closer. I was propositioned to try one of the Blackout C1s by Guitar Center and Schecter, and it seemed like it was a good fit, so I agreed to do it, and now here we are. And just to be clear, not hide this information at the bottom of a description that no one will read, this video is sponsored by Guitar Center and Schecter, so if you do happen to buy one, use the link in the description. So now that the uncomfortable part is out of the way, it's time to get down to business. This was supposed to be a funny joke, but it's just reminding me that I need to schedule my colonoscopy. What's up, guys? I have the Schecter C1 Platinum Blackout. This is the Schecter C1 Platinum Blackout. It is a mahogany guitar with a maple neck that features a thin C profile. We will measure that when we get it up on the bench. It has a scale length of 25.5 inches. It has an ebony fingerboard with 24 jumbo frets. Now, the whole guitar is finished in satin, including the back of the neck, which feels very nice and buttery smooth in the hands. If you haven't experienced a satin neck, I highly suggest it. For the pickups, we have an EMG 81 and 85 set, 81 in the bridge and an 85 in the neck. Tone Pro's 20:1 ratio tuners, a Tune-O-Matic bridge with a Graphtec Tusq nut. And this guitar doesn't come with a gig bag or a case or anything, and it retails for $8.99 at the time of making this video. However, it looks like there's a bundle that includes a gig bag and like a tuner and a cable, and it's $859.99. So, you know, write that down. Now, the Schecter C1 is something that you guys have been asking for a very long time. Like, we did that poll, and the Schecter C1 𝗦𝗦 specifically got the second place on the poll. So it is something that I want to do in the future. However, Schecter via Guitar Center did ask me if I wanted to check out the Blackout version of the C1, and since I knew you guys wanted to see a C1, it seemed like a good fit. Now, surprisingly, this guitar does not have blackouts in it. I feel like it's a missed opportunity. This is called Blackout because the whole guitar is, you know, blacked out. We even have these black strings on here, which is why I'm even shooting this portion of the video in the first place, because I'm gonna be real with you. These are not my favorite strings. Coated strings in general, just, they have a different feeling to them that I don't prefer. And especially these color-coded strings, I don't know, they just feel like plasticky. Like, it's just a weird sort of alien thing going on. So we are going to take these strings off, but I thought, you know, this is the way that it would arrive to you in, so I did want to demonstrate that. Anyways, I have this guitar plugged into the devil from my company, Obsidian Audio. There's more information on that down in the description. I'm using that to boost this Bad Cat Hot Cat 50. This is a great amplifier, and I'm definitely in the honeymoon phase with this thing still. And the reason I actually have this out is for a video that you haven't seen yet. It'll be on the channel later this week. It's always weird shooting videos in advance. It's gonna be in a video that's coming up this week, and I may or may not be making free things for you with this amplifier. Is it an amp pack? Is it a Kemper pack? I don't know. You're gonna have to stay tuned and watch that video to find out. That is going into my 𝗦ci 4x12 cabinet. I have the Torpedo Captor X Plus here. That's in the signal chain. It's not really being utilized right now. I just have it because, like I said, I was using this to make some things. Am I giving it away? Maybe. And I know not all of you care about this, but some of you care about it deeply. So I will plug this guitar into a free plugin towards the end of the video. That way you can hear it through a thing that's free. Now, this guitar arrived me in drop D. Told them, they gave me a choice in between two guitars, and I was like, well, I know the viewers have wanted to see some sort of C1 guitar for a while now, so we should probably do that. I thought, to be honest with you, the other one, you know, it was like that new Sinister Gates, like that custom Sinister Gates, and I thought that that would be really cool, but you know, it felt like I'm serving you guys better with this one than just checking out some guitar that I thought looked goofy as shit, you know? So, maybe we'll do that one in the future too, who knows? Ooh, they stapled the Allen wrench to the inside of the box. That's nice, so it's not just flopped around in the box. Look at this. So we have Grovers on, are those Grovers? No, Tone Pros. They look like Grovers, but I couldn't tell because of the light. This is very nice. What is going on here? We have black strings on here. Cool, I guess. You know, the black strings is an interesting touch. I don't know if that appeals to you or not. This is something that, I don't know. You know, it's cool. It's interesting. But this is not something that I would really care about personally. I would just immediately swap these out for the strings that I like. I don't know how we're gonna do that yet when we get this up to the bench. I'll make that decision when I'm there. Maybe we keep these strings, which I don't really like doing. It does come with a battery. Look at that. I really like the shape of the guitar. It's thinner than what I'm used to from Schecter, but this is probably normal for them. You know, like I said, my experience with Schecter is dated. Very, very much dated. It definitely has a drop D vibe. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna keep that intact. However, I am going to change these strings. However, I do want to do a clean demonstration now with the DR. Look, I even have the hang tag still for the DR strings. They didn't even mark which strings are. It's just a bunch of unchecked boxes. I can't even tell you. Anyways, yeah, they're black DR strings. I just, you know, figured I would do this just cause. We'll do a clean check with the other strings. That way, if you want to compare them, you can, but. This is a bridge. Here's the middle. And here's the neck. You know, their EMGs is nothing new, but definitely wanted to hear these strings specifically through clean channel. I mean, you're hearing the guitar too, but you know, they're black strings. Come on. Yeah. Okay, you know, everything feels really good. I don't have any sharp fret ends or anything like that. The neck feels very smooth. You know, obviously it's satin. It feels good in the hands. It feels like a pretty standard C profile. We will measure that when we get it up on the bench. The sound of this guitar is not surprising to me at all so far. I mean, EMG 8185 set is something that I'm very, very familiar with. It's my preferred pickup set. It's a pickup set that I've been using for a long time. Let's get this thing up on the bench though and get some good strings on it and take this hang tag off. I forget to do this in nearly every video I make, and just coincidentally, the scale was out on our little packing table here. So let me weigh this thing real quick. Oh, yeah, it's pretty light. So we are at 7 pounds and 7.4 ounces. So far, it's a very thin guitar, and it's also a very light guitar. I'm gonna measure the body thickness, both in the center, because it's an arch top, towards the edges too, just to kind of quantify that for you a little bit when we measure the neck, okay? So we'll do that in a second. Let's get the strings off first. Okay, hopefully you can see what I'm talking about here if we'll focus on it. See, the coating on these strings is already wearing off a bit. And I get it, I'm not trying to criticize these strings. I know it's like a novelty, you know, it's cool, it's Blackout, it's got black strings on it. I think it's a very neat idea. I just want to explain to you why I'm not using these strings. To each their own. If you like the novelty of strings coated in whatever they use to color them, great. I just personally don't. I just want to feel the strings under my fingers, okay? Call me a purist. I don't know. All right, strings are off. Let the measurements begin. Up here at the nut, we are 41.61 millimeters wide, which translates to 1.63 inches. that widens up to 52, pretty much 52 millimeters on the dot at the 12th fret, which is 2.04 inches. The neck thickness at the first fret is 20.83 millimeters, and at the 12th fret we are at 23.48 millimeters. So I would not call that super thin. I think that's like somewhere, it's like on the thin side of medium, if that makes sense. But the neck shape feels very comfortable, and thickness is only one part of the story, right? So let's check the neck shape here. Here's the neck shape up at the first fret. You can see it's very, very round. We have super contoured shoulders. That's really what's adding to the comfort factor, I think. And then up at the 12th fret, same thing, maybe slightly flatter, but for the most part, just a very C-shaped neck. And this is a made in Indonesia guitar, and it's just very consistent with Indonesian C profiled necks, in my experience. So just super comfortable to play. I would liken this to LTD or something like that. You know, that again is on the thin side of a medium thickness neck. But yeah, even though they're EMGs, let's measure the output of the pickups. I mean, we're here, so we're gonna do it. The bridge is at 21.8. The neck, yeah, very similar, 21.7. And in the middle, we have a whopping 19.6. They're very much in range with every set of EMGs I've ever tested. But yeah, now you know and I know and Jesus knows, or whatever. Let's clean this thing up. This is just really common with any mass-produced guitar, in my opinion. You tend to have like a dusty neck a little bit, and it just, you know, benefits from a little TLC. So that's what we're gonna do. You know, I've become quite a fan of wood grain patterns in my time on this channel, staring at them so much. And this one is really nice. It's very streaky. We'll see how much that changes once we polish it up, but I thought it was worth getting on camera right now. And also just because people ask all the time what I use to clean flat guitars, just a microfiber cloth and some warm water. You can buy specialized cleaners for it, but especially since it's a new guitar, it's just unnecessary. I'm just trying to get my fingerprints off it so I can put more fingerprints on it in a few minutes. Man, just look at the difference. Much, much darker, sort of richer color out of it. It's not that there's anything wrong with the fingerboard. It's just that wood gets dry over time. You know, it gets dry, and especially from the factory, if it's a little bit dusty too, you can just really add to some of that washed out look that fingerboards get on new guitars. So, you know, polish it up. It's worth the time investment. I did mention that the body felt pretty thin to me, and this could just be my own perception. I'm not super familiar with Schecter guitars, like I said already, probably multiple times in this video. Let's just see what we're working with here. Try and get in right here for the body thickness, and it is about 48.9 millimeters, or 1.93 inches. And then on the thin part of the arch, we're looking at basically 37 millimeters, or 1.45 inches. The thinness here at the belly cut, 26.5 millimeters, or 1.04 inches, basically an inch right there. Just to give you an idea of how thin the actual body of the guitar is. I think it's probably worth mentioning too, as I'm cleaning this, I think a lot of like the dirtiness, I guess, on this guitar doesn't really have anything to do with like the guitar or the manufacturer. Just a lot of it has to do with the finish. With it being this satin black finish, it tends to attract dust. Like everything is very noticeable on it. So while I really dig the aesthetic, it's just something, you know, something to note. It's kind of like, what do they tell you about cars? It's like having a white car makes it look dirtier, or having a black car makes it look dirtier. I can't remember, but either way, satin black guitars tend to always have some form of dust on them. Now putting strings on it and taking the hang tag off. Jesus Christ, maybe. There we go. get the hang tag off there. I'm using a set of Stringjoy strings. These are 10 to 50s. This is just a standard set of strings, I believe. But there's the gauges if you want to see them. I'm gonna put this guitar back in drop D. It very much feels like a drop D guitar. So that's why we're gonna do it. Now these strings probably are a little bit thicker. The strings that were on here felt like 9s to me. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but we'll see how much that adjusts the tension on the neck and everything, because I'm probably gonna have to adjust that as well to compensate. So yeah, let's put them on. We're back. Is it something about drop D that just makes you want to play butt rock? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I mentioned how much I love this guitar tone, but let's go to the clean channel. That way you can compare to earlier when I had those black coated strings on here. Bridge. Middle. Neck. Okay, there's not a dramatic difference. At least I can't tell one just sitting here. Maybe I will when I'm editing this, and this would be a great point to put those notes in. So, you know, if you have this perception that color-coded strings are somehow duller, that's not my experience as of right now. Let's do this on, I get complaints about this occasionally, and it's not that I necessarily want to cater to people that complain. It's not, but I think it's a valid criticism sometimes that I just focus on only metal tones. That's true. That's what I do. Can you not tell that I'm a metalhead? Like, what? Reminds me of Silverchair, man. You guys remember that band, Silverchair? What happened to Silverchair? Great band. Okay, but I know who I am and I'm not confused about it. I'm not the one going through a midlife identity crisis, so let's go back to the Chungus tones. Plugin now, yeah? Free plugin, free thing. I don't know what it is at this point, but I will by the time you see this video, and I'll put it on screen. Let me know how that's doing it for you. have some thoughts on this thing here. This guitar is really cool, man. I really like it. I like the aesthetic. I'm glad to have another Schecter on the channel, something that I hope to do more in the future. You know, we'll see how it goes. Definitely want to check out the 𝗦ci𝗰𝗶 as well, since it's something you guys keep asking for. But this one, you know, I'm not super surprised that I liked it. This feels very in line with the thin line guitar. That's a weird sentence. But back in the day, my homies in American Me got an endorsement through Schecter, and specifically Cam. Cam is a good friend of mine. Like, we've been friends for a long time. If you don't know that, now you know. If you're watching, hey Cam, what's up? How you doing, man? But anyways, we've been friends for a long time. We go way back, but I remember way back in the day with American Me and the Schecter endorsement and checking out the slimline guitars that they had and being very, very impressed. And you know, this feels very on par to that experience. But it's a very comfortable guitar to play. The neck is a little bit maybe thicker than I would like, but that doesn't mean it's not super, I mean, we're talking about the difference in between maybe a millimeter. You know, it's very small, very, very small, little difference. I like the aesthetic. Obviously it has EMGs. These are my preferred pickups. You know, and I think for a sub $1,000 guitar, it's pretty solid. You have some really great solid specs on it. Like, it feels like a workhorse of a guitar. Oh, hey, it's Editor Taylor here. I just wanted to add this in also because I've been thinking about it a lot. The false binding on this guitar is really, really nice. It's a very small detail and I feel like it's really easy to miss, especially if you just look at the pictures online. But the whole guitar has this very dark gray false binding, but when you're holding it, it just really ties the whole thing together. And I don't know, it's just little details like this that I really enjoy in guitars. And when it comes to my personal preferences on things, I just prefer Floyd Rose equipped guitars. I mean, if you're around the channel, you know. But for string through body guitar with a tunematic bridge, I kind of enjoyed this, actually. Big shout out to Schecter and Guitar Center for sending this guitar to me to check out for you guys. If you like this video, make sure to do the things that YouTube wants you to do to indicate that you like it, like hitting the like button or sharing it or commenting or whatever. And if you really like what I do here on the channel, you can join this list of scrolling names. These are my patrons that get behind the scenes access to a Discord server that I'm in regularly. We chat it up, you know, have a good time. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.